Hi everyone, and welcome to What's in My Architectural Drawing Set New Build Edition. I'm Daniela, interior designer, and I'll be walking you through a complete drawing package. So this is going to include contextual site plan, various different floor plans, section drawings, millwork drawings, mood boards. It's a lot, but don't get overwhelmed. Use the link in the description to download the template and follow along with me. Today I'll be using Rayon Design, which is the fastest and easiest web-based collaborative tool in which you can create stunning 2D drawing packages. So before we get into this architectural document set, I actually want to talk about the order of the sheets. So you will see that we will start off at the cover page and legend. And we'll get into different layouts, which are definitely more detailed. Then we'll end off on the nitty-gritty details, such as the schedule. And when you think about it, you're going to be sending this drawing package, and it's going to be seen by a lot of new eyes. So you really need to walk them through the project as they go along the pages. You want it to be a very clean design. So let's just get into it. So here I am in the drawing set, House on the Hill. I hope you're following along with me. And I've zoomed in on the cover sheet here, and we're just going to take a look at the cover sheet and the table of contents, also known as a sheet legend. So the cover sheet is the first impression of the project, so it's actually very, very important. We do have a beautiful render here. We have a very clean and minimal design, although we do have some project information. So if I zoom in on here, I can see the client, I can see a little bit of a proposal, and this is meant to engage the client or whoever is looking through this document set. So a lot of people overlook the cover sheet and the sheet legend, but it's really not to be overlooked. If you're not exciting your clients, within the first couple pages, they probably won't re-engage afterwards. So looking at the sheet legend here, I'm sure we're all familiar, but let's take a look at this design. It's once again introducing that beautiful render, has the same consistent format, and this is key. This is going to be key for all the consultants. Some will care more about the construction plan, some will care more about the facade, right? So they need to know what page to go to. So there we have it. Very nice, clean, and simple. And let's move on to the site context plan. Okay, so I've zoomed in on the site context plan, as you can see here. And this plan is showing where the property is going to be on a larger, wider environment. So this can be urban or rural. And what are these markings here? We'll take a look further. Well, we're looking at the area in which where the property will be. We're looking at main roads. We're looking at different neighborhoods. We're looking at pathways. So you can see that it's pretty detailed. Also, we'll be noting setbacks. We'll be noting any relevant information at this point so that people really understand, the neighborhood and the other neighborhoods close by. We also have other key information. So we actually have a little list here of the home, what's going to be, how large is the garage? Is there going to be an office? How many bedrooms? All of these key elements in which obviously the client is going to be, dying to know. So we also actually included some inspiration photos. You want every page of your document set to be engaging. So we're having some inspiration photos here. As you can see, it's very sort of Nordic Scandinavian. That's what I'm getting from this photo. We're getting a little bit more, rustic here. So we're introducing some of our inspiration and some of the thought behind the design. So overall, this is getting into where this property is going to be, some key elements, where the inspiration was taken from, And now we're going to get further into detail with the site analysis map. So now I've zoomed in on the site analysis map. And let's take a little bit of a further deep dive here, and let's look at the legend to show us what's actually on here. So as you can see, the sun path is represented, winds, you even have the wind direction, which we'll look at. We have the views, we have the noise. So essentially, this is all of the environmental factors being shown in a way so that the client actually understands some of the design decisions, right? So when you're working on such a large scale project on a new build, there's going to be many, many different consultants involved, and they're going to be giving you studies. And these studies are going to be dictating the way that the architecture will be designed in order to maximize sunlight, in order to, not have all this disturbance from the road, and also to consider any slopes on, the ground. Like, there's so many little details that, have to be considered. So this is a very easy document to understand that. So if we zoom in here, we can see the site. Here we got, our wind markings. We got the noise coming from this property over here, right? And we see all of this information, which once again, you can continuously refer back if you're not understanding it fully. So I've zoomed in and I want to talk a little bit more about this drawing. So this drawing was actually imported from a DWG file type, which is the file type that exports out of AutoCAD. And the drawing is cleaned up. So when you hover over each element, you'll see that it's actually a block. And it's very easy to add blocks, delete blocks, and move around blocks. Rayon Design actually has a block library of over 10,000 blocks. This includes front view, top view, and side views. And we'll explore it in just a minute. Let's go into blocks, and you can see libraries. Let's just have a little exploration here. So we have windows, we have gym blocks, that's cool. We have kitchen accessories, we have living room accessories, we have movie theater equipment. So whatever project you're doing, I'm sure that Rayon has the blocks for, which makes things so much easier, trust me. For this drawing, I think we just need to add maybe an indication of where north is. So let's go in the search, and you can even just search symbols. And let's see, here we have it. We have some North Star symbols. So I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to just drag and drop, and it's going to plop it in. And I want to rescale this. So you can just hover over, you can see you can rotate, you can rescale, we can move it around. It's very, very easy. So this is very arbitrary, as you can see, but for an example, if I wanted to add a North Star symbol so that everyone's very clear of where north is, I could add that like so. I could also select it and delete it if I no longer want this. So here I am zoomed in on the structural layout plan. And this drawing is very important because it outlines the primary structural system. So think load-bearing walls, columns, shear points. So let's kind of zoom in here, zoom in further. You can see relevant information such as a dual-sided fireplace, which sounds lovely. But this drawing is really critical for engineers. It kind of gives them a head start, and it enables them to figure out if the architectural layout is actually feasible, structurally feasible. So this is very critical information for them. All right, so I've actually zoomed in on this drawing, and I want to talk a little bit about walls and wall styles in Rayon. So this drawing was actually imported in as a DWG drawing type, and Rayon was able to process and redraw this document. So if we hover over these walls, we see that they can be selected. This means that we can move the wall, we can change the style, we can do whatever we please. So I'm going to show you how we can move a wall. So I'm going to zoom in and let's just simply click on this wall and hold and drag. And I'm just going to put the wall here. And while this wall is selected, I can talk to you a little bit about styles. And you can see this style panel is here. So that means we can quickly change the wall type. As you can see, we can just change and we can even select with this little dropper and have the wall type match the other walls. And it's also great to know that you can create your own new wall styles. So while this is selected, we can change all of the wall styles within this style itself, as you can see in edit style, but we can also detach a style and we can further customize. So let's say we want to detach this. We can customize it further. And let's say I want to make it thinner. I want to change the texture maybe, or I can even make it a solid color. So there we have it. We got blue. I can make it a different blue. I can change the stroke. So let's see how this is looking. We can zoom in and we can see all of the changes are being applied. So you are able to quickly change all of your wall types. You can detach and create a new style for one wall type. And you can see that it's pretty easy. So now we're moving on to the lighting and power plan. So let's take a closer look. So we're seeing a lot of dashed lines. We're seeing a lot of blocks that indicate fixtures. And if we want to be crystal clear, we should take a look at our trusty dusty legend. And you can see some more information about these lights. So wall mounted, is it recessed, is it suspended? And also, we can take a look at what type of switches. Is it one way, is it two way? Sometimes there's notes on what's dimmable or not. So the lighting plan is very crucial. Lighting plays a huge role in how a space is perceived, how color is perceived. And this drawing will really start the conversation with your clients in a sense of what type of people are they? Are they people who don't like, a very, very bright home? There's a lot of people who prefer just to use lamps, who prefer to use more natural lighting. And then there are people who want to pot light the entire home and then add some more decorative lighting. So this is really going to gauge that. Typically, lighting design starts off as, following the rules by the book. So you're adding, pot lights to code, you're adding track lighting, you're adding pendants over the island. And then that is where the conversation can jump off and you can make changes. So as you can tell, lighting design is very intentional and it's a little bit technical. Well, it's a lot technical, but it's a very, very important part. So Rayon actually has some amazing resources, including a block library with over 4,000 blocks we've already taken a look at, but we'll take a look at some of the lighting blocks in just a moment. But they actually also have another resource if you're stuck on your lighting plans, just like I know even I get stuck. And if you want to check out this resource, go in the link in the description and download the How to Create Lighting and Power Plans tutorial. Anyhow, let's talk about the 4,000 blocks in Rayon. Well, we're not going to talk about all of them, but let's take a look at some of the lighting ones. So as we can see, we've already sort of glanced over a few of them. And let's go and see what else we can find. So we can do lighting. All of the lighting will have top, side, and front view. So that's very important when you're doing, elevations and sections. But let's sort of browse and see what catches our eye. This is cool. Oh, this is a desktop light. Oh, well, this is an office. So this kind of makes sense. Let's drag and drop. And awesome. It already looks to scale. So that would signify that we're actually adding this cool, funky desktop light to this office. So now we're looking at the furnishing and floor plan. And this is always my favorite plan because I just love furniture. I know that's weird, but I just love furniture. And I love all those little pieces that bring a space together. So let's kind of zoom in. And as you can see, everything is to scale. And it really does paint the picture for how much room you're going to have while walking around. You can see there's some notes here on, what the floor tiling is. And there's obviously intentionality of where you're putting certain flooring types. So you're not going to put, very porous wood where there's going to be a lot of water, for example, in the bathroom. So we're looking at that durability as well. So this drawing really does give the client a lot of information, and it really does give you a sense of how things come together. So let's actually add a material. I actually want to change this flooring, and I want to make it a little bit more realistic and into a texture. So I'm going to select this flooring, and I'm going to go in styles. And as you can see, we have a timber floor hatch, which is cool, but once again, maybe we want to change it. So we simply select it and we do edit style, and you can see that hatch. And we actually have a few different options for how we can fill this. Let's go into texture and let's sort of browse what we can do. So there's plenty of options, and let's maybe find something that actually goes with the design scheme here. Ooh, I love this flooring. This is really nice too. So, okay, that was easy. And we can even change the opacity. So maybe you want things a little more muted, maybe not that muted. You can play around with it. Yeah, I think that actually looks good. And what else can we do here? We can actually rotate it. So this kind of looks boring to me. Maybe I want it, on a different angle. So I can select add tiling, and I can go and have a little bit of a rotation here. Oh, okay, that looks cool. I'm actually, I like this flooring. And that was that. That's how we can add some very realistic textures, and you can go in and you can detail your entire furnishing and floor plan. So now we've come to the facade drawings, and I just love the facade drawings, and I love saying the word facade. I don't know, it's really fun. But anyways, what are these facade drawings all about? Well, as you can see, it's the exterior. And this drawing isn't photorealistic. They're not meant to be photorealistic. They're meant to show scale, some shadow work. You can see that there's materials and textures inputted. There's even some, landscape and greenery. So although they're not necessarily realistic, they do paint a picture for the clients and all of the consultants for, how this house is actually going to look. So typically they're drawn at a scale of 1 to 50, but you always need to actually verify that scale on the drawing. So that's a little tip. And here's our beautiful facade, and let's comment on it, shall we? Let's tap this little comment box and let's add a comment. And what should we say here? Should we be critical? Should we add a nice comment? Let's click here and say, can we consider another material? Oh, yeah, I type so fast, I always have a million mistakes. So we'll add Sandy. And if Sandy was on my team, I would be able to add her and she would get a notification. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to post it. So now, Sandy's going to get a notification that I want to consider another material for whatever reason. And let's say I want to share this drawing with my team, with my clients. And if you're on this project, you're going to be sharing this drawing with a million consultants. So you need to know how to do this. So you just press share, and it's going to give you a few different options. So do you want to create a public link so anyone, with this link can ask to edit it, can duplicate this drawing package? You may or may not want that. Do you want to create a presentation? If you're sending this to your clients, probably. So you can toggle that on and you can receive this link here. Do you want to create this as a template so everything in this model will be published? You may or may not want that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. The typical way that you're going to share is you're going to type the individual's email and you're going to control what they can do. So usually for consultants, you typically make them a viewer. Someone on your team, you're going to make them an editor. And then you're going to type the information and you are going to share. So it's very, very easy and you'll be using it a lot. Mood boards, FF&E tables, and millwork. The goal here is really to combine the 2D plan graphics with textures, annotated swatch, and reference photos. So it's really putting together all the pieces of the puzzle, and it's showing your clients on how the space is actually going to look. And we have this, stunning render. We have all the information on the material. And like I was saying, if we zoom in, we get all the little nitty-gritty details. But I'd like to show you how you can import a photo of a piece of furniture and include it in your mood board. So we're just going to go in the menu and we're going to import image. And we're going to grab a photo of sort of this comfy chaise lounge chair that I found. It's uploading. And it's a nice photo and all, but I'm going to need to edit it. I don't really want all this background. So let's click remove background. Oh, that was fast. And we can even change the exposure if we'd like. I kind of like the original. Maybe we can up the contrast. Do we want to make it a little bit more cool tone? Anyways, on with the show. Let's add it. So I'm going to scale it and I'm going to zoom in on here. I can move this elsewhere. I'm not trying to make it perfect right now, but I'm just trying to show you on how you can add things to create your own mood board. Made it to the last drawing in this drawing set, and this drawing being a detailed drawing, a 1 to 25 wall insulation section. And as you can see, this drawing is very detailed. And you may be wondering why this level of detailed is required at this early on phase of the project. And it's actually a very strategic move. Typically, a very detailed section is included to show the client that we're thinking about what's important to them and to this design. So as we discovered this house on the hill, there's going to be quite a gust of wind. There's going to be strong winds in this area. So this wall insulation that was specified is actually going to be the solution to that. So this is actually how we're going to address that issue. So this is a very, very, very smart thing to include in your drawing set, if that's the case with your project as well. So what is important to know about Rayon is that you can draw detailed drawings like this. But let's say you're working with a consultant or a supplier and they're going to be providing you with a drawing of this level of detail. You can import PDFs, you can import DWGs, and you can format it in a really nice way like we've done here. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. That is how you can create a complete architectural drawing set for new builds only using Rayon. If you'd like to follow along with this workflow and try it out yourself, check the link in the description. Rayon can also do a lot of other things that I didn't get to cover in this video, so be sure to subscribe and check out the channel for more. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to leave us question or a comment, we'd really appreciate it. Leave it down below, and we'll see you in the next video.